Hey guys, so I get this question all the time. Does social circle just bring you sluts? I get this criticism all the time. They're like, no, Michael, men of action would only work for slutty women who just want a bunch of attention on social media, high stimulus women who do drugs and go to clubs all the time. I can totally understand how you got this completely wrong. Social circle does not just get you sluts. It gets you all kinds of women. So I don't even like using the term sluts. We're gonna say women who are promiscuous, less choosy, or what we say in sociology, sociosexual women. Does social circle only get you those type of women? The answer is unequivocally no. The reason why people have this misinterpretation is because they've been lied to. A lot of my clients who come from very homogenous societies, like a lot of my Eastern European clients, a lot of my German clients, a lot of my Indian clients, they come from this very, very structured upbringing where their mother and dad told them to go to school, get a good job, and then you'll get the good girl. You'll deserve the good girl because you go to church all the time and you'll get the good girl. But unless you've been living under a rock for the last 25 years, you know that's not how it works anymore. Some of the most promiscuous women you'll ever meet, you're gonna find them at church. We're not in that episode anymore. Remember, all of you wanted Megan Fox, and Megan Fox chose Machine Gun Kelly, who slept with thousands and thousands of women. And the other thing you need to understand is, think about somebody who's universally attractive. Let's say Brad Pitt in Fight Club. It's not just sluts that liked Brad Pitt, and it's not just promiscuous or super selective women who like Brad Pitt. All women found him attractive. Think about it as a man. If I went to you guys and say, hey, do you think Margot Robbie in Wolf of Wall Street was attractive? No, 99% of men are gonna say yes. Not just super slutty men or men who are super selective. All men are gonna think she's attractive. Selma Hayek in Dusk Till Dawn, almost all men thought that she was attractive. You think about Jessica Biel when she was very young in some of the movies she was in, everyone thought she was attractive. Well, the thing is, those mechanisms that you as a man find attractive in women, their physical attractiveness, women have the same feeling for men, meaning like Jason Momoa or Chris Hemsworth or Brad Pitt. It's not just slutty women who find them attractive. The attraction triggers that women feel work for all women. So for instance, I give you an example like Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle is a very, very funny comedian. Dave Chappelle probably generates a ton of attraction with women because he's funny, but he doesn't just generate attraction with good girls or bad girls. He generates attraction in general. Being funny or charismatic generates attraction with all women. Showing relevancy, competency generates attraction with all women. Having access to scarce networks, resources, and locations generates attraction with all women. Charisma and humor, pre-selection, and social proof generates attraction with all women. So forget what you've been told. If you've been told that you have to act a certain way, go to a certain school, wear a polo on Saturdays when you go to the brunch so that you get the high class girl, understand that none of that is true. Attraction triggers are ubiquitous amongst women. And if you understand attraction triggers, you're going to attract all kinds of women. The good woman, the bad woman, the promiscuous woman, and the non-promiscuous woman. You're going to get them all. You need to stop worrying about attracting the good girl, and you need to start worrying about attraction, period. Here's why social circle generates attraction with all women. Back in the 1990s, there was a study of what's called mate choice copying in animals, and then later on, mate choice copying in humans. And what this phenomenon is, and please pause the video and look it up yourself if you want to look it up, is basically the fact that women choose men that other women choose. Meaning, when we see women, we see perfect information. If you see a really attractive woman as a man, you see hip to waist ratio, signs of symmetry, youth, facial features, etc. Your brain immediately sees her and is like, I'm attracted to her. In fact, it takes less than 1/10 of a second for men to be able to tell women are attractive, because the things that we need in order to tell that they're sexually attractive to us, we can see them almost immediately. So we have what's called perfect information when it comes to us deciding whether or not we're attracted to a woman. A woman does not have perfect information when it comes to us. She doesn't know if we're terrible in bed, we have a micro penis, we're abusive, we're a potentially some sort of abuser or murderer, we're gonna steal money from them. She doesn't know any of these things just by looking at us. The way that she can get some of that imperfect information to become perfect is by looking at the reactions of other women. Mate choice copying is that, and as we say in this community, pre-selection is what generates that. I've heard some people say pre-selection is 80% of attraction. I think it's closer to 95 or 99% of attraction. Women seeing that other women want you is an incredible way to generate attraction. But here's where it gets even crazier. There's actual data that shows that men are more attractive when women are in photos with these men, and it doesn't even look like the women want to sleep with them. Meaning, if the women just show some level of compliance or approval, those men are still deemed to be more attractive. So this idea that, hey, Michael, I don't want to show pre-selection. My social circle makes makes me look like a player. Bitch, you should be lucky if anybody thinks you're a player. 95% of you who are watching this video right now, women don't notice you at all. You should thank your Lord and Savior if a woman calls you a player, because that means that she actually, for the first time in your life, actually believes other women find you attractive. Other women finding you attractive is the reason why Social Circle generates attraction with so many women. The other thing that it does with Social Circle is because it gives you access to scarce locations and networks, meaning you get to go backstage at certain parties, concerts, conventions, you get to go to private dining areas with certain people and get to go to certain mansion parties, etc. Because you get that access, that also is something that throughout history has generated attraction with women. Social Circle gets you amazing access. And it also shows that you're relevant and you're competent by who knows you, by the other people that are in your network, and by how much talent and efficacy you can show on social media. Remember, social media is the easiest way to show high status with the lowest perceived effort. But here's the main point. Regardless of all the attraction triggers I just mentioned, just remember that these attraction triggers are ubiquitous amongst women, meaning highly selective women and highly promiscuous women are both subject to these same attraction triggers. There's this huge misconception that when people see so many women around me on social media that they think that I'm paying them. I have never paid a single woman a single penny to hang out with me ever. In fact, I have this offer that I've had out there for 5 or 6 years and nobody's taken me up on this, which is if you can find one single woman I've ever paid one single penny to hang out with me, to be in a photo with me, or to come to any of my events or anything like that, if you can find one woman, I will give you $50,000 if you can find a single one. People get really angry because they're sure that I'm paying women. Here's the problem. Because you're not used to seeing that many attractive women with a really, really average square like me, in your brain, the only way for you to bridge that gap is to just say, hey, he must be paying them. But I'm not. And I have 4,000 clients in my program. And the first thing I tell them is that you can never lead with money or use money to get women. When you use money to get women, it's very similar to somebody taking anabolic steroids in order to get bigger. Once you start taking steroids, you can never stop taking steroids in order to maintain that physiological level of mass. You have to keep taking steroids. Once you lead with money with a woman, you're trapped. You can never go back to generate genuine attraction once you lead with money. If you start by generating genuine attraction and then later on take care of her because she's the mother of your children, she's moved in with you, she's an incredible wife, girlfriend, etc., you can go that way. You can go from genuine attraction to provider, but you can't go the other way. You can't go from, hey, I'm not very attractive to you, so I'm going to make up for it by giving you money, and then later on expect her to have genuine attraction for you. It never works that way. And so because of that, the very first thing we tell guys in the program is that you never ever lead with money. I wear an Apple Watch that's 2 series old. I drive a 10-year-old Lexus IS 250 with 118,000 miles on it. I never, ever lead with money, and I'm able to generate massive levels of traction with women because of the previous attraction triggers I told you: relevancy, competency, access to scarce resources, networks, and locations when it comes to humor, charisma, social proof, and pre-selection. Those don't require money. It's really important to understand that. So please do not let me disabuse you of that misconception. Absolutely under no circumstances do you use money to impress women. You can use money as a funnel, but you don't use it as a crutch. An example of that would be, let's just say you rented out a location to throw a huge animal rescue charity, and you and your friends invited like hundreds of female influencers to come out, and they came out and you raised a bunch of money for animals. That would be an example for you using money to create a funnel in order to meet women, but you're never going to directly compensate those women under any circumstances. One of the things I've been most often criticized for since I started coaching back in 2008 is that I was one of the first people on the internet, or the first people in this dating space particularly, to say that men and women can and should be friends. This is a discussion I've had with Rollo, and he's actually done a 180 on this whole idea. And if you listen to other guys like Adam Sosnick and those such, they'll actually agree with me. Having female teammates is an unbelievable advantage. One of the problems that happens is that a lot of guys can't be friends with women that they're super attracted to. That has to do with a lack of abundance. I get it. I was deployed to the Middle East one time for 6 months. I came back, and at that point, I probably couldn't be friends with women because I had such a lack and desperation when it came to women. But if you can learn to friend zone every woman you you meet. It is it's a magical skill. It absolutely will change the game. In fact, probably more so than any single thing I can teach you, if you have hundreds of female friends that you don't hit on, that come out with you to social engagements, that think you're an awesome dude, that don't think you're creepy, what happens is, let's just say you have this first group of 5 girls and none of them are interested in you sexually, whatever, but they go out with you to an event. What happens is that other women witness, remember what I talked about mate choice copying and pre-selection? Other women witness those 5 girls with you, and these questions start to pop up in their minds. Like, well, he seems pretty cool. Like all these girls want to hang out with him, and those girls are pretty, I wonder which one's dating him. And the girls will start imagining and start inferring in their mind that you're more attractive than you actually are. In fact, there's studies that show that men who are pictured with other attractive women, those women see them as more intelligent and generous. Unbelievable that they would infer such a thing from such a small cue of stimulus. So what actually happens here, when you start making hundreds and hundreds of female friends, you friend zone them. Listen to what I said, by the way, because I know I'm going to see this in the comments. You never let women friend zone you. I've never said it's okay to be friend zoned by a woman. It's terrible getting friend zoned by a woman. Getting friend zoned by a woman means you did some creepy cold approach pickup, you hit on her, she rejected you and told you something to the effect of, let's just be friends. Being friend zoned means that she's actually diminished your status. Just consider you and another guy friend. When was the last time you had a guy friend and you said, hey bro, let's just be friends? You never have to say that because your guy friends generally aren't trying to have sex with you. So because you don't do that with men, when women do it to you, it's a huge insult. You should never get friend zoned. You should friend zone women, hundreds of women. If you need examples of this, just go to my Instagram and you'll see hundreds of women that are in photos with me. But what's more important is that those women are following me. They like the photo. They come to my events. They leave comments and they introduce me to other women. Here are the 3 main reasons why you have to have female teammates and why it absolutely crushes any other type of game. Number 1, female teammates actually calibrate you towards being around your dream girl. Most of you right now, if you join Men of Action today, I would be able to put you in your dream girl guaranteed in probably 3 weeks, and you would all fumble the bag. If I put your 10 out of 10 dream girl in front of you, you don't have the requisite attraction skill set in order to be able to keep her. You don't understand intersexual dynamics enough. But for me, the way I learned was trial by fire. I managed a strip club for 4 years. I was a DJ for about 2.5 years, and I was a manager for about 1.5 years. I worked there for 4 years. And when I worked there, I was constantly being objectified by women. Women were completely naked, coming up to me in the dressing room, saying all kinds of vulgar, crazy stuff to me. It was like they were pursuing me because I'm in the dressing room. It was like 45 girls in one dude. I got so used to that after years and years and years of dealing with that I became so comfortable that these girls were always asking me to take them out for their birthdays. I was the chaperone. It was like me and 12 girls back in Austin, Texas, back in like 2003, 2004. And I would go out with large groups of girls and we'd get everything we wanted for free because I friend zoned these girls because their sexuality, their sexual wares, their boobs and their butt had no effect on me because I had become so immersed in it. I was so used to being around beautiful women that when I was around my perfect girl, my perfect 10, I didn't act weird. My voice didn't crack. Hey guys, you want to come get a drink with me? Hey guys, come over here. My voice didn't crack. My palms didn't sweat. My pupils didn't dilate. I didn't get fidgety with my mannerisms like I see almost all of you doing when you're around a hot girl. So reason number 1, beautiful women calibrate you towards being around more beautiful women. Number 2, this is the second reason why you have to have female teammates. They get you into incredible events. I am the host of Swimsuit USA because one of the previous winners, Sierra Nowak, recommended me to be the host. A female introduced me, so now I am the host of the biggest swimsuit pageant in the world because of a woman introduced me and got me there. And now I'm backstage, I'm in the back of everything, I meet all the girls, I'm spending a week with 70 girls in Mexico for the championships. I get all of that access. It was a woman named Leanne who recommended for me to be able to host the Hot 100 at Wet Republic, a $130,000 bikini competition, which at the time was the biggest bikini competition in the world. It was a woman who recommended for me and got me the job at the Rehab Bikini Invitational. It was a woman, Crystal Hefner, Hugh Hefner's widow, who used to invite me to the Playboy Mansion. Women get you access to incredible locations and opportunities. All of the guys that I know right now that are worth over $100 million, I was always introduced them at a high status status event that I was almost always invited to by a woman. Women get you unbelievable levels of access. Number 3, women introduce you to other women. My ex-girlfriend, when I met her, she was 20 years old. I was 45. And when I walked up to her in the bar, all the girls at the bar that were already friends with me at Swimsuit USA were bigging me up to her, bragging to her about me. I had to do next to no work because these girls made it so easy for me. And when I wanted to leave with her in the group, I just looked at the group and said, hey guys, let's go. Because all these girls were my friends and they wanted to go with me. She went along with them for the ride. It was incredible logistics. There is no single thing that I will tell you that will get you around more attractive women than having female friends introducing you to attractive women. And if you don't believe me, go back and look at the myriad of videos that we've made where we've interviewed hundreds of women and asked them, how did you meet the last 5 guys you dated? And they always say the same thing. A girl introduced me, a girl introduced me, a girl introduced me, a girl introduced me. Men, that is the number one way. If you want to date 10s, that is the absolute number one way to do it. And I know there's still guys that are clenching their butthole and gnashing their teeth. They're like, no, Michael, that's not true. Ask them. Just ask them. How did you meet the last 5 guys you slept with? And you're going to be shocked that everything that I'm saying is correct. In fact, not only is that the case, this is most likely the way for you to get the woman with the lower body count, the woman who is not promiscuous. The reason why is the woman who's not promiscuous generally is less susceptible to high levels of stimulus. The way for her to get into a friend group or a social circle is someone in that social circle that she trusts brings her in. This is generally another woman, and these women tend to be of like the same level of attractiveness around the same age. So let's just say there's Sally. Sally's like a perfect 10. Sally doesn't go out that much. Sally's had one boyfriend in her life back in high school, whatever. She went to college. That's it. You want to meet Sally. If you go out and try to do a bunch of like cold approach or whatever, you're not going to meet Sally because she's not going out to a nightclub. But if Sally has a friend and her friend invites her over to your, hey, come on over to Michael's party, it's far more likely you're going to meet her. So having female friends is actually the way for you to meet more selective, less promiscuous women. There's a 4th reason, and I don't talk about this one very often, but one of the great things about having a ton of female friends is you can tell when any guys are snitching on you. I'm a person who runs a business. I've run several businesses before, and finding people who are disloyal, who are snitches on you, one of the greatest ways to figure it out is by having a ton of female friends. One of the first things that happens is that when guys are jealous of you, one of the first things they're going to do is talk shit about you to other women. It's always that way because they want to make themselves look better. The problem is that when you're friends with all these women, the first thing these girls are going to do is come back and snitch to you. I have been able to discern when people were trying to stab me in the back so quickly because of my female friends. It's like I'm Leon Panetta. It's like I'm the director of the CIA. It's an incredible superpower is you can find out when these dudes are just steady talking shit behind your back. And by the way, you join Men of Action because you're going to level up in your social life, your business life, and your dating life to such a massive degree. You're going to leave a lot of people in your wake who are going to talk shit about you. So this is a 4th reason. I don't talk about this one as much for a reason why you should have female teammates. The other misconception about my program is that the idea that we just use social media and that we're like a slave to it. I need you to understand this. In fact, I need you to repeat after me. If there's nothing else you take from this video, if you never join us, if you never watch another one of my videos, I just want you to take this one idea from me. I want you to say this to yourself. I am a social media producer. I am not a social media consumer. We use social media to be social. Most people use social media to doom scroll. They sit there and they're subject to these advertisements. They feel worse and worse about themselves by looking at other people in their lives and how much better their lives are than your life. We don't do that. Instead, what we do is use social media to create massive events. Either I'm going to bring a bunch of girls to your event, or I'm going to throw an event on my own. And at that event, I'm going to have 3, 4, 5, or 6 girls for every guy at the event. The ratio is going to be way more women than men. I use social media to be social. Most people use social media as a sedation in order to just get through the day. They're bored. They don't want to be in the present moment. They start doom scrolling. We never, ever do that. We use social media to be social. We use social media to build a social circle. And we use social media to show the highest level of status with the lowest perceived effort. Social media is incredible because no matter how good you are in person, if you're the greatest cold approach pickup dude who's ever lived, you can still never get as many impressions as I can on social media. Meaning if you go out and you approach 50 girls a night, you'll still never compete with the fact that I get 4 million impressions a month. You're never going to be able to do that. I'm always going to be 1 100,000 times more scalable than you using social media versus cold approach. So social media, I know a lot of us do. Listen, I'm a 47-year-old retired military officer. I don't want to put dog filters on my face. I don't want to use face. I don't want to do any of this stuff. I'm so tired of this, but I do it because it works. I'm a whore to what works. And so because social media is able to allow you to scale so quickly and allow you to connect massive groups of people so that you can create real life events so that you can actually meet women in person, this is the reason why social media is so incredibly powerful in order for you to build your social circle. Another misconception about social media is that you need to go off and find all these girls and you immediately start following them and liking them. I actually don't follow that many girls. In fact, it's pretty rare that I follow girls anymore. And I never like non-contextual sexualized images. So for instance, if one of my female friends posts a picture of her with a rifle and she goes, just graduated from Marine Corps boot camp, I'm gonna like that. If a girl's like, I just paid off this house, I will like that. If a girl posts a horribly, horribly offensive and funny meme, I will like that. But if it's a picture of a girl in a bikini just standing there, I'm not gonna like that. I'm never going to reward uncontextualized, sexualized images. Why is that? Because I don't treat women differently because they're attractive. One of the problems that men have today is that you act worthless. You show your intent, you telegraph intent to women who've done nothing to deserve it. And because of that, you look valueless and worthless. You only need to show intent and give approval and validation to people who've given you some level of compliance in your life. So that's the reason why we don't leave heart eye emojis on girls' posts. We don't sit there and like girls' posts or whatever, unless they do something amazing. Or often I'll have girls send me really funny memes. And if the meme is really funny, I'm going to like the meme. I'm enjoying her as a person. I know for a lot of you guys, this is very foreign, but I enjoy women as people. And when I get to know them as people, then I start to say, okay, this is something I find interesting and this is something I don't find interesting. And yes, guys, I'm just like everyone else. Some people, some guys I find boring, some women I find boring, and I don't want them in my social circle. I don't want them in my life. But occasionally and often I'll find people who are very, very interesting and I'll bring them into my social circle. And when I do so, if they do something that's amazing, I'm going to like it. But I'm not going to just give them validation or attention because they're famous or because they're attractive. So it's really important you do that. When you do that, what happens is you start chiseling out this world for yourself, meaning I only reward compliance. When someone doesn't give me the compliance I want, I don't reward them by giving them likes. When someone does give me the compliance I like, I might like their post back. In order for you to do that, you have to hold yourself to a high enough standard. You have to have enough abundance. If you're a man who has a lot of scarcity when it comes to women, you're going to be liking a lot of posts of girls showing their boobs or showing their butt on Instagram. You're going to do that because you don't have any abundance. But once you have an abundance of women in your life, and by the way, if you make hundreds of female friends, you're going to be dating so many of them, it's going to be ridiculous. It'll make your head spin. You're going to have 2 or 3 dates a night. When you get to the point where you're dating that many women, you're going to be like, hey, you know what? I can see past your beauty. When you've been with hundreds of beautiful women, you can see past their beauty. And it's unbelievable. You can actually have way better conversations and understand people better when you can see past their physical attributes. And that only happens when you have a certain level of abundance. And that only happens when you have a certain level of female teammates. And that only happens when you have a really powerful social circle. Now, remember what I said at the beginning of the video. Does building a social circle only attract sluts? I'm not here to denigrate you if you are a slut. I don't even like to use the term slut. We can call you just highly promiscuous woman. And the thing is, I'm not here to judge you. I'm sure there's a lot of guys who are watching this video right now and they're like, Michael, I really like dating sluts. I don't have a problem with it whatsoever. So if you like dating sluts, I have an incredible, incredible technique for you. It's called cold approach pickup. Go up to women, show them massive levels of intent, telegraph a ton of intent, and do creepy kino escalation. When you do kino escalation, what you're doing by touching them in inappropriate manners, when you do that, what happens is you're screening for women who find that acceptable. And by the way, it'll work. You will absolutely find women who like being touched by men who are strangers. Those women are called sluts, highly promiscuous, sociosexual women. Congratulations, you found a woman with a 600 body count. Cold approach pickup is a terrific way to find highly promiscuous women. It's true. Consider if you had a daughter and your daughter went out to a bar and she wasn't turned on by the guy, and then the guy started touching her on her shoulders and back and kino escalating, and then she slept with him. What would you think about your daughter if that were to happen? It's ridiculous. Obviously, you're dealing with someone who's highly promiscuous. So when you do cold approach pickup, you will get laid. You'll get laid frequently, but you'll get laid by women with a 600 or 700 body count. Congratulations. You were born on third base and thought you hit a triple. Guys think that they have game because they slept with a girl who has 900 bodies. That is not good game. What you're doing is you're shortening the seduction process by screening for women who are very comfortable with your touch early on, and you think it's game. It's not game. You're just picking the easiest women there are to get. So if that's what you're looking for, if you like highly promiscuous women, I recommend mode 1. I recommend direct game cold approach. Now, I'm not talking about indirect cold approach. Indirect cold approach, that's different. That's something totally different. The girl has to actually earn your affection and earn your intent. That's different. But what I'm seeing mostly taught right now is go up to the girl, tell her she's pretty. That kind of cold approach will absolutely work on women who are extremely attracted to you or women who are highly promiscuous. For the rest of you who actually want to learn how to build a social circle and attract all women, one more time, let me explain this to you because this is the most important thing. Some of you are so obsessed with this idea of getting the good girl. Bro, no women find you attractive. Stop worrying about getting the good girl or the bad girl. Worry about any women finding you attractive at all. Generate attraction. You don't need to sleep with 50 women to understand women, but you do need 50 women to want to sleep with you. And when you do so and you have tons of interactions with women, you become more discerning, and then you could start to see those red flags. When you see those red flags, then you could say, okay, this is a woman who's highly stimulated, probably not somebody I want to be in a relationship with. Okay, this is a lower stimulus woman who's way more agreeable, way more of a benefit to my life. You won't be able to make that determination unless you have experience with women. It's funny, some of the most judgmental guys I've ever seen, the ones who just think every woman with a boob job is a slut, those are the guys who get fooled by prostitutes the quickest because they don't have the requisite understanding of women to be able to tell when a girl is a slut and when a girl isn't. Here's another misconception that I want to go over before we're done. I host Swimsuit USA's World Championship. Our last 2 champions, one of them, she is happily married and she runs a construction company. And the girl who won last year, she has a doctorate in pharmacology. She's an actual practicing medical doctor. When you look at these girls, because they're in bikinis and they have tiny waists and big boobs, for a lot of guys who aren't used to being attractive women, they see every woman with a nice body and attractive who wears makeup, they see them all as sluts. You've got to learn to get rid of that. You need to understand there are hyper promiscuous women who have bodies and figures like that, but there's also women who get up at 7 a.m. They're a surgical nurse and they're trying out to be like an IBF pro. Like you'll see that as well. Just because a woman is attractive does not make her promiscuous. I get this all the time. Guys see me with a bunch of beautiful women and they think those girls must be sluts and I must be paying them. Get that out of your mind. That is very counterproductive for you getting your dream girl. You need to learn to attract women in general. When you can attract women in general, then you can be selective and select the 1 or 2 women that you want, or 5 or 6 or whoever that you want to be in your life. If you're interested in learning how to build a social circle, we have been doing it longer and better than anyone in history. And we absolutely, positively have more irrefutable visual evidence to prove that we build the best social circles in the world. If you don't believe us, and it's not just me, go look at Tristan, go look at Luke, go look at all the guys that are in the Men of Action company, all of our coaches and our clients. If you don't believe that we're better at building social circle than anyone else, do me a favor, send me a link to an IG profile for someone who you think has better social alignments, who teaches social circle in a better way than we do. I'd actually be curious to know, because what I've seen, we're the only people who teach you how to build a social circle with female teammates and social media that works to your benefit, that works for you while you sleep. We're the only people who teach you how to do cold approach to build a social circle, to always have an offer and to have a myriad of events to either go to or throw yourself. We're the only people who teaches this. So if you want to get a grade A social circle, a top tier social circle, where there's hundreds of women, every single restaurant you go to, every single club you go to, you skip the line, every girl there knows who you are and they're constantly introducing you to beautiful women, and you have a myriad of 9s and 10s that you can date for the rest of your life. If that's what you're looking for, click the link below and I'll see you soon.